Opinions. We all have them, especially when it comes to love and sex. So what happens when two people who have never met get to share their opinions in an open and honest conversation? Maybe they learn something about the other person, and maybe they learn something about themselves. I'm Dr. Jessica Edwards, and this is Well, in My Opinion. Today we are discussing, would you date someone undetectable for HIV?
I would date someone that is undetectable for HIV. I think for me, especially with the advancements that have taken place, such as PrEP and ongoing medication for them as well too, and safer forms of sex. And I don't know if you've seen in the news, there's been some great advancements. I think the first woman was just fully cured of HIV just recently. They're not opening up the medication quite yet because it's still in trial phase, but there's a lot of advancements. So yeah, I would definitely give my love and energy and emotions to someone that has an undetected form of HIV, for sure.
That's very insightful. Thank you.
No problem.
I don't know. There's a lot that I don't know about HIV, because my initial inclination was no, but also, yeah, there's a lot that I don't know about it, and I guess to a degree, like I guess if you're living with HIV, and you're trying to, I mean, this is obviously someone who doesn't have HIV. You're taking all the steps to make sure that you're able to not be contagious. So I don't know. I would need to think about that more. I'm leaning more towards yes, but my initial inclination was no. Yeah.
Yeah, I think with the lack of education and just there was a lot of fear mongering when HIV first popped on the scene, in the late 80s and the 90s.
No, that makes a lot of sense. And I definitely agree that even just STIs in general are stigmatized. Like even herpes, which is astonishingly common.
Very common.
It's seen as gross and disgusting and unwanted. And it's very, very common. I definitely think that there's space for a larger conversation, because this is probably the first time I've had a conversation about whether or not I'd be even open to it. Yeah, that's very insightful. Thank you.
No problem.
Yeah.
About 1.2 million Americans have HIV. Of this amount, about 13% do not know it and currently live as undiagnosed. For those who have been diagnosed, modern treatment can suppress the virus to the point that lab tests cannot detect it, a state known as undetectability. Those who have reached and maintained undetectable levels can no longer transmit HIV through sex to their partners. Despite this, many people who are undetectable still face prejudice and discrimination in the dating arena. As if it wasn't difficult enough to find a partner, a meaningful relationship in the modern scene.
If I still liked the person, then that probably wouldn't deter me from dating them just because that,
Well,
I mean, if they couldn't sexually transmit it to me, and I mean, even if they could, and like I still liked the person and they disclosed it, like we would just have to figure out ways to be safe, because that's the person I chose to be with, and
yeah,
I feel like it's just the honesty about it is really what matters. I mean, I don't know how you feel, but to me, I feel like it's just the honesty that matters.
It's the honesty, and I think it's also like if someone just wants to be super casual and they slip in that information, then it's like this probably, since you kind of aren't, it depends, I guess, if someone wants to be monogamous and committed or open and more fluid and free and kind of polyamorous in that way.
Yeah.
Because that would also add a layer for me. If someone was like, no, you're my woman that I want to be dedicated to, or, my person, this is what I have going on. Like, we going to be, is that a deal breaker, a deal breaker. If someone just wanted to be super like casual and then they told me that they had that going on, I'd probably be like, then this probably isn't. Like you can go be casual, I'm in it for different things.
Yeah.
So I think there's a lot of different elements.
Yeah, like it definitely depends on the situation.
Though tremendous strides have been made to treat HIV, specifically to suppress it to undetectable levels, many with the illness still face stigmas entrenched in our culture from battling the disease these past few decades. The good news is that modern treatment can not only help those living with HIV live full lives, but also inhibit them from spreading the illness to their loved ones. I'm Dr. Edwards, and this has been Well, in My Opinion.